You started with autobiography and articles, so kind of nonfiction rather than fiction. What made you want to start with fiction?
Um, there are a couple of nice things about working in fiction as opposed to nonfiction. The first and most obvious one is that you don't have to write about actual people that you know, which can lead to all sorts of difficulties. And my life became complicated in various ways because of the nonfiction things that I wrote. Uh, and it's fun to put all that aside and just write about made-up worlds. And then also, it's sort of a bigger fish. I mean, if you really do a good job with a piece of fiction, it can last for a long time. And I think it has the power to kind of fire up people's imaginations more than a piece of nonfiction.
Do you read contemporary young adult authors? Do you have any favorites?
Don't read that much contemporary YA stuff, but the people who I like in young adult writing these days, I think Megan McCafferty is really good. I think David Levithan is really good. I have recently seen The Hunger Games. I hadn't seen that before. I thought that was pretty interesting and cool. So those are 3 books recently that have been fun. I mean, I don't read every single young adult book that comes out. I read ones that I have to review, so that's how they come across my plate a lot of the time. But those 3 are 3 that I liked a lot.
Did you have any favorite books when you were a teenager?
Yeah, the things I liked when I was a teenager. I liked Stephen King a lot when I was a teenager. I liked Michael Crichton a lot when I was a teenager. I liked George Orwell's books a lot when I was a teenager. Those were 3 authors who I read who really made a big impression when I was 13, 14, 15 years old.
Be More Chill will be released as a movie in the fall, right? Sorry, Kind of Funny Story.
It's Kind of Funny Story. The
Right.
movie comes out in the fall, yes.
What has the process of seeing your book become a movie been like?
It's been very exciting and fun. They have the people who produced the movie, which is Focus Features, were really, really great in terms of having me be involved in the process. So I saw a script for the movie pretty early on, and then I was on set numerous times while they were filming the movie. So I kind of got to see things come together, and I've had a chance to see a screening of it too, and it's very exciting. It's been great process.
When you started, when your first book was published, especially, you were what could be considered the young adult reader demographic. Do you think that being younger helped you connect better with a young adult audience?
Yeah. Yes, being young helped me connect with a young adult audience. I don't think you have to be young in order to do it, but I don't think it hurt. And, I didn't go into young adult books really intentionally. I was writing about my life, and my life at the time was the life of a teenager, so it fit. But then once I found myself there, I just, found it was a really fertile and creatively productive and inspiring world to be in. It's been my, an honor and privilege to continue to write books in that world. Being young helps because I could write. Very rarely when I was working on my books was I thinking, I hope the readers understand this slang, or I hope that the readers don't think that I'm out of touch, because I felt like I wasn't out of touch because I was writing about my own life. I haven't yet reached the point where I'm so old that I'm worried about that stuff yet. Now I think I've learned how to handle slang and other things, and it's really a matter of just making the stories work. And if the story works and the book moves quickly, I think young people tend to get on board.
Do you consider writing adult fiction?
Yeah, I definitely have written things that are intended for adults. I've written criticism, I've written short stories, I have a whole novel that I wrote for adults that's sitting around right now. I don't know what's going to end up happening to it. I spent 22 months of my life working on it, but then ultimately the result, I'm not sure if it's where I want to go with my career. So, it's more difficult to write for adults. I can't really put my finger on why. I think that your everyday life as a teenager is more interesting than your everyday life as an adult. Your everyday life as an adult involves a lot of responsibilities having to do with just, paying bills and talking on the phone to customer service people. You find yourself doing this all the time, and that sort of sense that every day, like, oh, could be the best day of my life or the worst day of my life, and the things that are happening now are going to define me for the rest of my life. That really happens when you're in adolescence, and so it's a very easy time to write about because the events have so much emotional significance just because there's so many firsts. That's not to say I don't want to write things for adults someday. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this manuscript that I have. Maybe someone will publish it when I'm dead. I don't know.